There have been several press conferences, but this is just a brief overview of how the president's press conferences have gone. First of all, one of the things that we can identify is that the presidency has been pretty much consistent, open, and transparent in terms of the way they've responded to the press conferences. As I said, the press conferences there have been quite a number of them, and the president has been front and center in addressing these press conferences. So I'll say that this is not one of those situations that you can say that the president has been invisible. He's been very visible, very forthright in addressing these press conferences, and I think that is one thing that we've realized. In fact, it's now common parlance in Ghana. A lot of people have always made fun of fellow Ghanaians and all of that. So that is definitely one thing we can see. The president has been very visible. The second thing that we can see is in terms of empathy. If you do the analysis of his press conferences or his televised addresses, you can see that the president has been empathetic. There have been quite a number of times that he said, I understand that these measures such as the lockdown would have devastating effect on the vulnerable and the poor, but then we have to do it in order to make sure that we mitigate the crisis. So he's been quite empathetic. The third thing that I'll say is that he's relied on data quite a bit. He would cite the Ghana Medical Association and other sources. And so this gives a lot of credibility to the press conferences, or it gives a lot of credibility to the information that he's given us. However, I must say that one of the concerns about the data is that some members of the public feel that the presidency hasn't been too transparent, they've been slow, or they've kind of withheld some of the information for some time, and that the data hasn't been released in a timely manner. So that's one concern that we've had. The third thing I would say is that the president, in the addresses, is sort of kind of reassure the public that things are going to be done very well. And in a public health crisis, one of the things that you need to do is to kind of quell the fear by assuring the public. So he's done that a number of times. One way in which he has done this is to talk about what they are doing to address the crisis, And so that's the next thing I'll say. He's outlined steps that they've taken to address the crisis. And this is very important in crisis communication. Showing the people and kind of encouraging them by telling them what exactly you are doing to address the crisis. So that's one thing there. However, the other side to this is that a lot of people have said that sometimes when we talk about his achievements or the things they are doing, it sort of looked as if the president was self-praising himself, or that he was using it to engage in politicking or political campaign. Don't forget, this is the election year in Ghana. So that has been a criticism on that. Lastly, one of the other things that he's done is that he's given messages that have sought to improve the self-efficacy of Ghanaians. He would come up with information regarding what we should do and what should not be done. At one point, he would say we need a lot of self-discipline, selflessness, and self-control. In the very recent one, he came up with the names of certain food items that would improve our health, especially when it comes to vitamin B, vitamin C, and E. He mentioned certain food that he thought would improve our health: dawa, kontomire, okro, crabs, brown rice, millet. These are local varieties which he put out there, and that really caught up with the public. It was all over social media in the conversation. So really, this has been the way the government here has responded to the crisis in terms of analyzing the televised addresses, messages of self-efficacy, empathy, the data, also reassuring Ghanaians, and also talking about really the steps that are being taken. So from a communication perspective, this is a very brief or broad overview of how the televised press conferences have gone as far as addressing the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. HSC Campaign Analysis, Accra.